Welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. That was the voice of Marlene McDade. They can do their thing, and I can do my thing. We're talking about a woman who lives in Tampa, Florida, who has this huge Trump 2020 flag in her front yard, and it's causing a controversy in her Southwest Florida neighborhood. My opinion is that she's not breaking the law. She's not doing anything wrong. She has the right to do it, but there are consequences for your actions. We had a woman who just called in who said she had a Hillary Clinton bumper sticker when Hillary was running for president, and then she found that somebody decided to mess up her car and spray paint her car. And she said, well, I probably wouldn't put the sticker up again, sadly, because there are consequences. There are lunatics out there. What do you guys think about this? 257-5396 is the number to call. 702-257-5396. And quickly, before we take calls, I will say this. The reason why I'm comparing sports to this is because there are two parties in this country for the most part, right? Republicans and Democrats. And I think the two worst words in this country are Republican and Democrat, because people make their decisions based on what their party they're in rather than what's good for the country. It's kind of like if you're a Lakers fan or a Celtics fan. All people care about is your team, and you bash the other team. Whereas if you were in L.A. and someone was wearing a Celtics jersey, there would be consequences for wearing that jersey. It's the same thing. People have passion. They're divided in sports. We're divided in politics.
But without the fans, there is no game. There is no ratings. The salaries don't exist. So there's not consequence for being a fan of a team. That's the whole point of the game. You're supposed to be a fan of either team. And Brian,
you're not supposed to attack people for wearing jerseys.
There's 31 MLB teams. There's 30 NFL teams. There's 30 NBA teams.
So
there's three political parties.
What's your point?
And in 2020, there are two. It's not, again, it's just not very close.
Okay, well, I disagree with you. I think people have passion. People are divided on politics, and this isn't surprising.
And like this woman. So in my opinion, to me, that's borderline a terroristic act. This woman wants to express the fact that she likes Hillary Clinton. Someone is so deeply offended by that fact that they decide to vandalize her property, and now her behavior is changing.
That shocks you?
No, I'm saying, how is that not an act of borderline terrorism? Because that's exactly what terrorism is. It's using fear to change behavior, and that's what happened to this woman.
Nobody was injured. There was damage to her car.
I don't care, but they damage to her vehicle. Exactly.
Well, we'll see what you think out there. Again, the number to call 257-5396. Why don't we start with Andy? Andy, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
What's up, Andy?
Thank you guys for taking my call.
Sure.
I was wondering if you would apply the same analogy to a woman that dresses provocatively. And I mean, no respect, so let's keep that in mind.
Sure.
Right.
No, I appreciate that. Okay, I think that's a fair question. Here's what I think about that, Andy. I think if a woman is going to complain about how guys are staring at her or guys are hitting on her, and she happens to be wearing an extremely provocative outfit, she has no business to complain. If you're going to wear an outfit, if you're an attractive woman, and you're going to wear an outfit that is extremely revealing, there are consequences for that. Now, I hope and pray to God that nobody sexually assaults that woman or touches that woman. However, is it out of the realm of possibility that men are going to be staring at her, that men are going to be hitting on her if you're in a bar or a nightclub, that men are going to be trying to buy you drinks or going to be trying to get your number? No.
Right. But that doesn't give men the right. It doesn't give men the right to try to touch a woman either.
Of course it doesn't.
And it's not an invitation to do so, but it is.
But there are consequences.
But I believe that they are looking for attention by doing that.
There are consequences if you dress like that. Just like there are consequences if you decide to paint your car Trump 2020. Is it against the law? No, absolutely not. But there are consequences, Andy. You see where I'm going with this?
I do, and I keep saying that there are consequences, and I understand that. However, the whole point is that there shouldn't be any kind of backlash like that for a woman dressing provocatively.
I agree.
To a game, and those people should be punished appropriately to whatever fits that crime.
I agree. Andy, listen, and I agree with you. Make no mistake about it. In a perfect world, I wish there were no consequences for that. But there are. 257-5396 is the number to call. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Todd. Todd, you're next. What's up?
What's up, Todd?
Good morning. I just I listen to the station because of other hosts, and I've caught your show a couple of times, not really liked it, but I did start listening to you because you had the UNLV on, the coach, you talked a little bit about poker, but you're using the word consequences is way out of line.
I totally
way out of
agree.
line.
Totally agree, Todd.
Okay, so why am I way out of line? State your case.
Because I feel when I hear you say it, you're smirking like all the others.
Okay, well, you just made a gross assumption because I just simply, and by the way, I'm not
I
smirking.
can confirm he is not smirking.
Okay, but Todd, first of all, you just made a gross assumption and you're 100% wrong. So let's clarify that, number one. Number two, I just had a woman call in who talked about how she had a Hillary bumper sticker.
I heard the conversation.
Okay, well, clearly you didn't, because what I said in that conversation was if you had a Donald Trump bumper sticker, hold on, let me finish. If you had a Donald Trump bumper sticker, I would feel the same way. I wish nobody would hurt you or punish you for having a political belief. I believe that you have the right to have that bumper sticker, to have that flag. I wish there were not consequences. But in that specific situation with that woman, there were consequences.
I think that Todd is comparing Todd is saying when he's thinking consequence, he's thinking, okay, I rob a gas station. I put a gun in someone's face. I get shot. That's a consequence. This is totally different. Am I right, Todd?
Absolutely right.
So that woman just said she...
And you know what? One more thing. I live in a condominium, and I have the TV on, and nice weather. You have the doors open. The minute I put Fox News, the neighbor comes over and complains that it's too loud.
Okay, Todd. Well, first of all, you made a gross assumption about me. You're wrong. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with someone disagreeing with you politically and giving you a hard time about it. I don't. So you're wrong about that, number one. Number two, I don't understand where both of you are coming from. All I'm simply saying is if you have a political belief and you show it, whether it's your car or the front of your property, sadly, but we're being logical here, just like what you said, you put Fox News on and somebody knocks on your door, same thing here.
My TV's too loud.
Okay, but you know what? Then they're an idiot.
Is that a consequence? Do you consider that a consequence?
No, well, I'm in my own home. Okay, I don't have the TV on loud. I'm not deaf.
Right, but do you consider
harassment?
Exactly.
And I'm telling you,
nobody said it's not harassment.
But I think Brian,
harassment and the smirking and the underline and the Maxine Waters.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to one thing.
That's a bit of a stretch there, Todd.
You can't scream over everybody.
Well, it's not your show, Todd.
Look in the mirror.
Okay,
look
Todd.
in the mirror.
Todd, it's not your show. It's a consequence of you calling in.
But I do believe that the word consequence is reserved for situations like a murder, like a robbery, not for expressing your political beliefs.
I didn't really get a chance to respond to Todd like I wanted to, but he made some comments saying that he believes that I'm smirking through the radio, which is completely 100% not true. Then he has a problem with somebody knocking on his door for Fox News, and then when asked if that's a consequence, of course it's a consequence, number two. And then number three, he said, look in the mirror. So, Todd, you're a dummy. Thank you for calling in. 25753. Yeah, great call. Look in the mirror. What do you mean good call? What did he say in that conversation that was a good call?
It was a good call.
So he told me to look in the mirror.
Just because he had a different opinion than you doesn't make it a good call.
No. It's not because he had a difference of opinion. He made an assumption about me that I'm smirking, laughing. Wait, hold on a second.
You're making it about you. What the call was about was overusing the word consequence. And you using the word consequence like it's like, oh, that's an expectation. Like, oh, ha, look at the consequence of that.
Okay, so it wasn't about me.
If you're gonna have a flag with Trump, then you should expect. Again, when I think consequence, I think, okay, I just stole money, I just robbed somebody, I just murdered somebody, and I'm going to jail.
JD,
that to me, that's a consequence. I just cheated on my wife, and I'm getting a divorce.
I know
that's a consequence.
We disagree on this. You've made that very clear. Here's the reason why I got angry at that phone call. He starts off the conversation by making a gross assumption about me that's not true. He thought I was laughing about this woman getting a hard time because she has a Trump flag. Was I laughing about this, or was I supporting this woman, saying she didn't do anything wrong? Just like the lady who called in who had the Hillary Clinton bumper sticker. I said if it was a Trump sticker, I would feel the same way. So he was wrong about that. So he made it about me. He said I was laughing, wrong. Then at the end of the phone call, because he can't have an intellectual conversation, he said, look in the mirror. That's why I hung up on him. He made it personal. I was willing to have that conversation with him. Then he said he listens to Fox News. Okay? And then he starts the conversation by saying, well, you know what? I listen to other shows.
Anyone who listens to Fox News that calls into our show is not a good caller, apparently.
I don't know what you're talking about. That has nothing to do. He said he listens to Fox News, and he did the story about someone knocking on his door saying it was too loud.
And I asked him if that was a consequence.
So he starts the conversation saying, well, I listen to other shows. I just happened to run into your show. So he starts by insulting me, us, and then he also, secondly, makes a gross assumption about me that's not true. I'm sorry. That's why I called him an idiot. If you want to have a conversation about this issue, we can disagree. That's fine. But don't make it personal. Don't say look in the mirror. Don't say you have Trump derangement syndrome. Have a conversation. If you are capable of having one, then let's do that. 257-5396. Yes, he did make it about me. He did. 257-5396. Let's go to Al. Why don't we go to Al next? Al, thanks for calling in to the Vegas Take. What's up?
What's up, Al?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you, JD?
Doing great.
So bear with you. I'm going to one point, and then I want to just say something about that last call
Okay.
at the end.
Yes.
So I think this isn't a call in support or not in support of the lady and her flag. This is really, I want to just touch on the point that this really speaks to me about intolerance from people with different views, primarily because of the topic, people on the left. If this were an Obama flag or a Clinton flag or something for a Democratic candidate, would we have this moral outrage and would people be making...
Can I respond to that, Al?
I would argue it would be actually a larger outrage.
That's the point of the call.
Yeah, I would say that if somebody had an Obama flag in Alabama and it was a huge flag like this lady had, I absolutely think they would get the same backlash. At the very least, what this lady got. And what did she get? She got a letter from a few neighbors. Yes, I do believe that if somebody had an Obama flag and did the same thing, they would be treated the same way, sadly. Yes. And
I agree with you, actually. And I think, again, it speaks to the intolerance and the division in politics. And then I'm going to leave you with this because I'm going to have to hang up and I'll listen to your comments is the fact that last caller said to you, look in the mirror. I get that you took it personal, but would you call that a consequence in terms of your point of view, in terms of your politics?
The consequence of me going on the radio every day, the consequence is there are going to be people that are going to call up, and there's going to be many people that call up, Al, that are going to disagree with me, and I don't mind that. But there also is a consequence of ignorant people calling in. There's a small percentage of society, or you could say maybe a large percentage, I don't know, of people that are not capable of having an intellectual conversation, and that's what they do. They just make it personal. He started the conversation by making it personal. He made a gross assumption about me that was not correct. He made a negative comment about the show. Because he wasn't able to really talk about his, I believe we disagree and we could have had a good conversation. I just don't think he was intellectually able to do that. That's just my opinion, Al, and I appreciate the phone call.
Hey, good call, Al.
Thank you very much. 257-5396 is the number to call. Again, that number is 257-5396. Who we got next? I don't know who the next caller is. 257-5396 is Marge is the next caller. Marge, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hi. Like Lisa, I know other people that have either put on a Clinton or Trump flag during the, campaign. And, they had their cars keyed, basically, scratched.
Right.
And, they were kind of appalled by it. They didn't really expect it. But I also know of other people who, even in a business situation, are refraining from giving their political views because they don't want the client or customer, to walk away or drop them. So they keep their mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think it comes down to respect in society today. We've kind of lost that completely. We're a society that basically can speak out. We should be able to, but now we're frightened to.
I wish it wasn't that case. I wish that wasn't the case, Marge, and I know you agree with me on that. I take this lady's side where she has the right to have a flag. I don't think she did anything wrong per se, but you have the only point, again, I'm trying to make is that you have to expect when you do something like that, just like when you put a bumper sticker on your car or you're wearing a Make America Great Again hat, you have to expect that you're going to get some backlash from that. Now, I wish that wasn't the case. I wish if you disagree with somebody, you have a conversation with them. Hey, tell me why you're a Trump supporter. Tell me why you're wearing that hat. I want to pick your brain. I want to hear your side. I wish people would interact like that a little bit more than people calling into a radio show and saying that I have Trump derangement syndrome. It's sad but true. Marge, it's always good. Yeah, go ahead, Marge.
And, I even know people even before this who would put up like a U.S. flag, a regular U.S. flag. And there are people around the neighborhood that said, take it down. We don't want to patronize, this country, which I think that's absolutely horrible.
It is. No, it is, Marge. We are in agreement. Always good to hear from you. We appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. 257-5396 is the number to call. I believe our next caller is Aaron. Aaron, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind? Aaron?
Hey, JD, how are you?
Doing good. Aaron, what's up?
What's up, Aaron?
Well, back in 2016, my wife wanted to hang a Trump flag below our American flag, and our house was vandalized to the extent where I was interviewed by 3 different news organizations.
I'm
Fox,
sorry that
television,
happened to you.
I can't remember the
That's
third.
horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible. They poured paint all over my truck. And my wife, she's a avid Trump supporter. She's got Trump 2020 on her windshield. And the amount of hate and discontent that my children and my wife have received, it's horrible and disgusting. You know, and this is also in reference to, I think it was last week when they were following Elizabeth Warren and calling her Pocahontas.
Right.
You made a big stink about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you think about it, I'd say the average is about 98% to where the left have induced physical toward Trump supporters.
All right. Well,
You
we
know,
did a.
That's what Antifa does.
Okay, well, we did a story. Yes, we did a story yesterday. First of all, Aaron, let me be very clear here. Whether it's 98% or 9%, whether it's Democrat or Republican, I don't support it. What happened to you, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, is academic to me. It's horrible. It's horrible. Whatever those persons did to you. We did a story yesterday where we had a Trump supporter putting was it like spray paint in the eyes of people in California that were protesting against Donald Trump. So I don't want to say that it doesn't happen on either side because, Aaron, quite frankly, it does. I'm sorry that happened to you. I wish it didn't happen to you. Well, but I don't want to go left. The right does it more than the left, or the left does it more than the right. I don't want to play that game.
You know, Brian, this is kind of scary too because this happened in Florida. It didn't happen in Beverly Hills. It didn't happen in upstate New York. It didn't happen in a predominantly Democratic state or Democratic city or liberal city. It happened in Florida.
Yeah.
So imagine what would happen if this woman did this in somewhere in California.
My opinion wouldn't change. My opinion would be exactly the same. Democrat or Republican, what's wrong is wrong, but there are consequences, sadly, in our society today for, supporting a candidate, and putting it out there. 257-5396. Let's go to Dan. Dan, what's going on?
What's up, Dan?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just wanted to distinguish the difference about consequences because I understand both sides of the argument. But with consequences, they can either be predictable or unpredictable. I mean, the fact that I'm standing at a bus stop and with some other people and all of a sudden a car comes careening and crashes and kills all of us, is that really a consequence of my choice to take the bus that day?
I would say that's bad luck.
Yeah, it is because I'm standing there.
Okay, but here's the difference, Dan. Dan, here's the difference. People that are at the bus stop don't have the financial means to have their own vehicle. You have an option whether to put a Trump flag in front of your home or not. You have the option to put a Hillary Clinton bumper sticker on your car or not. The people that are taking buses every day, usually for the most part, are people that is their only means to get to work or to get to where they need to go. So that's why I think that's a completely different circumstance.
They couldn't take an Uber or a taxi?
More expensive.
What I'm trying to point out is I understand your side of the consequences. It's like the fact that I was at work and the tower fell down and killed everybody as well as me. That's a consequence, but I think that what your other caller was trying to get across is consequences that are predictable. If I drop a brick over my foot,
so you don't.
Yes, if you can foresee that you're going to have your car vandalized, or there's a probability of having your car vandalized, then that's a choice you're making. But if you do something that you wouldn't predict, yes, that's a consequence, but that's not.
So, Dan, you're telling me, I get what you're saying, Dan, but you're telling me if you decided to wear a Trump shirt and a Trump hat and you had Trump bumper stickers all over your car and you had a Trump flag in front of your house, you don't think there's any consequences to that at all?
No, I'm agreeing. I'm saying there is consequences.
Oh, okay.
But there's a difference in definition. That
I agree. No, I agree with what you're saying. I completely, wholeheartedly agree with you.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
So that's why
yes.
we're kind of arguing about something that really we just need to define the terms better.
No, I understand.
The other thing I wanted to mention is that I listen to your show a lot, and I would find it more respectful and I would appreciate hearing it more when you disagree with somebody because they're an idiot or whatever. You're going to the same place that they kind of go to. When they can't make their argument.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
About opinion.
All right, point taken.
A little more respectful disagreement, I think, would be helpful.
Dan, point taken. And by the way, I have been respectful to you because you haven't said anything that was over the line or, but let me ask you a question now. If somebody starts a conversation with a lie, or somebody starts a conversation saying that I have Trump derangement syndrome, or somebody starts a conversation by calling me a liberal or a snowflake, or somebody starts the conversation by insulting our show, how do you think I should handle that? Just let them keep going?
No, you should not. But you should do it in a respectful way.
So how do I do it? Besides hanging up on them, how do I do it? How do I do it?
The way you do it is you say, it sounds like we have a difference of opinion and we'll never come to an agreement. So unless there's something else you have to say that's not about this subject, we're going to go to our next caller. Rather than saying you are an idiot, you are,
Dan,
you're going down to their level.
Dan, here's the issue with that. That would the first statement that you made, that would take Brian about 20 seconds to say. And a lot of the time when Brian says, "Oh, you're an idiot," it's just to get to the next caller because we have time restrictions.
Yes. Dan, I appreciate the phone call, but that's just not how I'm going to do things here. But you're not an idiot, Dan. That was a good call. 257-5396. Let's go to Glenn. Glenn, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's up?
What's up, Glenn?
Brian, how are you?
Doing good, my man. What's on your mind?
Hey, you know what? I'm not picking up Rush in the south side of Henderson, so I have to listen to you.
Well, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, that's just fine.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Fine.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
What I wanted to say was, I've been wearing I have 2 Trump election hats for 2020.
Yes, sir.
And I've been wearing them and getting nothing but compliments.
Well, I'm happy to hear
I believe that.
I'm glad that you were not harassed, just as if said you were a Hillary supporter and you got the same thing. I don't want people to be harassed. However, I'm one of those people that I like to pick people's brains. And if I saw you wearing a hat, I probably wouldn't say anything. But if I did say anything, here's what I would say. Glenn, tell me why you support Donald Trump.
Exactly. That's exactly 100%. That would make things so much easier.
And by the way, I've done that before. I did that in law firm.
If I saw someone wearing an Elizabeth Warren hat, I would say, okay, I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to punch you. I'm not going to key your car. I'm not going to call you names. I want to know why you want to vote for Elizabeth Warren in 2020. And if every person, and I know that sounds kind of snowflakey, I guess, but if every single person did that, just the understanding of why people think the way they do would increase exponentially in this country.
So, Glenn, I'll ask you that right now. Why do you wear that hat? Why are you a Donald Trump supporter?
Okay, like I had told you before, I didn't vote for Trump in the primary in Kansas. I voted for Cruz. But then when Trump got elected, I was glad that we didn't have Hillary because I didn't think that would have been very good for the country.
Neither did I.
So as Trump's presidency has gone on, I've seen he's made mistakes, but I also know the country as a whole is doing quite well.
You don't think we're more divided now than we've ever been?
What?
You don't think we're more divided now as a country than we've ever been?
That started with the previous president.
Has Donald Trump helped? Has Donald Trump helped in bringing the country together?
Donald Trump brings together the people who want to come together.
Well, that's not bringing people together, is it? All right, Glenn. I appreciate the call, buddy.
Good call, Glenn.
Hey,
and by the
Brian.
way, Glenn, I'm glad that nobody has harassed you because you don't deserve to be harassed. You wear a Donald Trump hat, you wear a Hillary Clinton hat. Nobody deserves to be harassed. But we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be speaking with the minister himself, Stretch Sanders. Why do we want him to come in studio today? Well, there's a UNLV threat, and it took UNLV 5 days to uncover it to the public. We're going to talk to him about that, a swastika on a church, many more subjects to get to with him when we come back. You're listening to The Vegas Take.